Experts on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
We are in conversation now with the White House correspondent for Real Political News, Jon-Christopher. Hello, John.
Hello, Nick. Great to be with you on the finale of our Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes, the countdown to the end of the world.
Yes, well, it sounds that way. Maybe I'm coming over there. I'll come join you.
Well, I think that this country is about to become a part of the Elon Musk Corporation, so maybe pick France or somewhere else that go on.
As my grand would say, bite your tongue.
Yeah. Now, the latest appointments in Crazy Town. Kash Patel, head of the FBI. Any thoughts?
Well, he's not yet, and he's got to go through the Senate to get past them. And there's the whole idea of retribution, recrimination, and pulling out a Stalin head of his security Beria move to go and rip out all. First of all, as Shakespeare said, first kill all the lawyers, and I think he wants to then kill all the journalists, which means I'm in deep, you know what?
Yes.
And I'm wondering if I'm even going over to the White House any time when he's in there after the 20th of January. I have to be careful.
Well, do you think that Matt Gaetz was thrown up as, okay, we'll give you this one. You can block this guy, but I want everybody else.
You know, I've always said you were very clever and a little bit devious to imagine such a thing.
You have
But
not.
here's what I was saying, and I was saying this to my wife earlier, who's a brilliant attorney. What Trump is doing, he's what we call in basketball flooding the zone. He's putting enough fools up there so they have to, maybe one or two will eke through. If you put enough idiots in there, enough incompetence in there, enough demented miscreants into those spots, then the Senate says, well, okay, we'll let Rubio pass, but we're not going to let Tulsi Gabbard pass, and we're not going to let Gaetz. And Gaetz was thrown up as a sacrificial lamb, but he was no lamb, believe me. So I think it's coming out, and I think the American people, and hopefully these Senate confirmation hearings will be live, and we'll be watching them on television, and it'll be great entertainment. But I think you're clever, and you're right, and that's what he's doing, flooding the zone. He does it with lies. He does it with appointees. Everything he does, and I've known him for 60 years, is about flooding the zone, giving you so much you-know-what that you can't even focus on all of it.
Now, he seems to be intent on getting family members into top posts, one of whom is a very colourful chap called Charles Kushner. What do you know about him?
Oh, Charlie boy. Oh, well, he was diabolical. You know, I'm glad the Kushners moved out of D.C. because they were 4 blocks from here. And you get an idea of where I live, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you'll get a kick out of it. The British Embassy is about 6 blocks away. The Kushners are 4 blocks away. The Obamas are 4.5 blocks away. And whenever they were here, the Secret Service was there, and they were blocking our entrance and exit out to get away from our home. They're gone, but their influence is not gone. And what happens is his father was quite diabolical. I believe he put up one of his relatives. He had him blackmailed, or he sent a professional woman to him, and until the guy was caught. I don't know, in the act or whatever. But this is the kind of guy he is. And he went to jail, and then he was pardoned, and now they want to send him to the French.
Have those French people not suffered enough?
I know, and I love that you call them the frogs, but we adore the French. I know you do too. You know, the French love the British gardens. Just so you know, they love your garden.
Oh, well, that is encouraging. Thanks for that. But it is really extraordinary because he's pardoned this Charles Kushner, and
yes,
I mean, people might want to.
Him.
If people have a strong stomach, they might want to look into what it is that he's actually done. And it is really quite unbelievable that a man like that would now be the ambassador to France. It's just incredible.
But look who's his president, and look who pardoned him. So like I said, flood the zone. You and I are talking about it. Can you imagine what the Yanks are talking about? It's nonstop, wall to wall. That's all we deal with. We talk about this stuff, and the fact is that if the English and the Welsh and the Scots are all talking about it, can you imagine what we're doing? We're overwhelmed by it. The zones are flooded, and now we have to deal with this. And now we have Biden's only in office for a little more than a month and a half, and he's going to have to do this. And you know what? Let him pardon his son. To heck with it. Have at it.
Yes, we might, over here, we're just learning this, so people might not have heard this yet, but the U.S. president, and, you know, you do recall that there is still a U.S. president called Joe Biden. He signed a pardon for his son Hunter, who was convicted of a federal gun charge. What was that charge?
Well, he had a gun charge. He supposedly had he filled some form out that wasn't quite right. He made a public comment to I guess in the court that wasn't quite right. And then as a tax issue, he's pleaded guilty to several of these charges. He will be sentenced in a few days on one of these so-called convictions. But if he pardons him, it's all over. It's all over. And then what I think, and I've always been a little radical, I think that Biden should pardon Trump.
What?
Yes. Let him pardon Trump. Let's see what Trump can pardon himself. Wouldn't that be irony? We all kumbaya. We're all coming together. Let's pardon each other. Come on, we've got to have a laugh here, Nick.
I guess so. Yeah, it's going to be the richest cabinet in history, isn't it? It's great. Yes. It's great that Donald Trump is really sticking it to the elite.
Well, you know, there's elite and there's elite. You know, some people call, you know, intellectuals and educated people the elite, the intelligentsia, and someone called the billionaires. This Secretary of Treasury, Bessonette, who's worth I think $644 million. He happens to be a gay man, which I think is probably a good thing, really going outside the box for Trump. But I think it's pretty cool. He's worth almost $1 billion, and I think that it shows that he's got a lot of dough in this cabinet. That he's always been there for the wealthy. He's always made sure that the wealthy have been able to keep their money and lower their taxes. But what's really going to come and bite him is the fact that he's promised these tariffs on our greatest trade partners, Mexico and Canada. You know, Musk is the richest man in the world, and he's basically the co-president. I mean, you saw him on Thanksgiving. I don't know if you did. It was pretty disgusting. He was dancing and drooling all over Trump's stuffing and carrots and peas. And the two of them looked like, I don't know what they were, but he's the co-president. He's the shadow president. But the thing that is, he's filling these guys up. Now, here's what's going to happen, and here's where Great Britain needs to listen. He's talking about these tariffs. Now, if you imagine you know what tariffs are. You're a smart guy. It doesn't do a thing to the countries because the country will raise the prices of that particular Jaguar or that Mini Cooper or whatever, and the people will have to pay for it.
The people in America.
The consumer will have to pay for it.
Yes.
But the thing that really galls me, and it must gall all the Brits, Trump wants the Brits at Jaguar to take down the icon of the Jaguar and put up a picture of himself doing YMCA dancing on the hood of all the new Jaguars.
And there goes all of their sales. Yeah. Now, we just mentioned Biden.
Yes.
He said he was going to go to Africa, and he did. What's he doing there?
Oh, yes. Well, he's heading off to, ready for this? He's heading off to Angola tonight, and he's meeting with the president there. He's meeting with the African countries there, as he promised to 2 years ago, and he's meeting world leaders in Africa. He's leaving, and he should be probably taking off from the airport here momentarily. He's leaving tonight, and he wants, in an effort to show counterbalance, of course, with China's efforts in the region.
Yeah.
And he's meeting with the African countries. He's trying to bolster them up and secure them as he has to deal with other issues across the world. I mean, Biden is going to have to deal with Putin, because Putin and Trump are, God knows the strange bedfellows there. But I think that he's going to Africa to show China that we have a strong relationship with the African countries, and he's always promised to show that kind of equality and that kind of strength towards the people of Africa. He's always committed to that, and I think that's why he's going to show that. Now, Biden, he doesn't have much time. He did an event today at the White House at the South Lawn with all the quilts from the people, from the AIDS quilts, which was World AIDS Day, which was very moving indeed. It brought us to tears, and he's showing that he cares about. He's got compassion, and that he wants to produce more programs for AIDS and HIV people, and this is what he's trying to leave in terms of his legacy. And Trump could come in and just turn it all upside down.
Well, yeah. Because
he'd love to do that. He'd love to do that.
To destroy anything that the previous administration had achieved. Yeah, that would be his thing.
Yeah, I mean, he did it before when he didn't know anything about COVID, and he said you can inject, bleach under your skin, and there's only 15 people who have it, and no one else is going to get it. And I was at the White House when he has all these people up there, and he's telling them that this is not a big deal. COVID is not a big deal, and we have RFK Jr. as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. My God, that is so preposterous. This guy doesn't believe in vaccines. He doesn't ever. I don't think there's a inoculation or we all had our shots, our polio shots, and when you were kids, we all had them. He thinks that it's overdone. We shouldn't do that. Now, I've got plenty of little kids that I remember when they were 4 years old in those horrible iron lungs I'll never forget. Yeah. When my mommy said to me, if you go to that swimming pool, you're going to end up like him. He wants to do away with the polio vaccines, with the measles vaccines.
Maybe.
And Mitch McConnell, the head of our Republican Senate, he had polio as a child.
Well,
it's preposterous, Nick. It's making me crazy. As you can hear, I'll calm down.
Yes. John, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks very much for your time. That is Jon-Christopher, White House correspondent for Real Political News. Thanks, John.
You bet.
This is LBC. I'm going to take a short break.